Hey guys, SKMY1996 here, and I would like to show you something I got in the mail today. Blue's first holiday. See, there's Steve when he was a kid, and Joe when he was a baby, and Blue when she was just a little tiny puppy baby. Baby puppies. Yeah, I'll show you. Here's the front, and the spine, and the back. I mean, and the back. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. And the inside. Here's the disc, and a little information guide here. So we basically already knows what's happening in this on this DVD. Basically, it shows the back of it and it tells you what happened. So I don't need to explain it to you because if I did, you'd be telling me in the comments, "We already know what happens. We watched the episodes." So yeah. So what do you think, guys? Isn't this wonderful? I'm I'm glad. I mean, if you think it's wonderful, I'm glad you like it. I mean, most of you will think it's wonderful. To those of you who maybe have forgotten what happens in this special, well, here's what happened. You see, in the episode Blue's First Holiday, it's the holidays for Joe, Blue, and all their friends. Blue gives us a present of her and us as the viewer in the snow, and Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper give everyone a present, and it shows two videotapes that show us when the characters, including Joe, when they were babies and when Steve was just a little boy. Um, we find out that Blue wasn't in the movie, so the first episode was called "The Day We Met Blue." So in this episode, it happened on a long. I mean, it happened a long time ago on a cold and snowy holiday. It was present time. Joe's present was his duck blanket, which he loved very much. Slippery Soap got his first bubble set, and he blew his first bubble. Tickety Tock got a pair of blocks that she could count. Shovel and Pail got her. Sorry, Shovel and Pail got toy animals. They got a bear and a lion. And Side Table Drawer got a telephone. Steve didn't get his present yet, but he knows exactly what he wants. A puppy. You see, Steve loved puppies, but he'd never had a real one before. And that's what he wanted more than anything. Then something came in the mail. Mailbox showed up and had a present for Steve. In the in the present was a book. The book was called About a Puppy. Steve read this over and over again until he went to bed. The next day, when everyone was still sleeping, Blue skidooed right out of the book, and that was Blue's first skidoo. When Steve asked why Blue skidooed out of her book, she said she wanted to play, and it did. And she did, sorry. After all the playing, Steve asked Blue if she could stay, and she said yes. So she put her book back and said goodbye to it, and Steve asked if she doesn't have to go back into her book anymore. Blue said no, and Blue got to stay. And that's how we met Blue. Just then, the telephone rang. It was Steve who was who was calling from college. We got to, we, sorry, they, Joe was telling him about the day we met Blue and he was in it, but he was little. Steve said he remembered that day because Blue skidooed right out of the storybook. He couldn't believe his eyes. Then Joe asked if he could say hello to us. so we so so he did. Steve said, "Hi, how are you doing? Did you like watching that movie?" You know, I used to love that storybook. I read it over and over and over again. Well, I miss you. Enjoy the holidays, okay? Bye. Then it was mail time. Joe got a holiday card from four kids celebrating each different type of holiday. One was celebrating Kwanzaa, the other one was celebrating Hanukkah, the other one was celebrating Christmas, and the other one was celebrating the month of Ramadan. After the holiday card segment, it was time to watch the second movie. The next movie was called Blue's First Clue. It shows us the day we ever played the game of Blue's Clues. So, what happened was, on the next day, everyone was playing in the snow, and everyone had something to do. Shovel and Pail made a snowman, Tickety and Slippery made snow angels, Steve and Blue rode down a sled down a hill, and Joe, he was just happy just to sit in the snow. Later that day, it was time for the babies to take their naps. So when they got into their cradles, there was a little problem. Joe's blanket was missing. Nobody knew where the blanket was. They looked all over the house. They looked under the bed, the toy chest, the thinking chair. They searched everywhere, but nobody knew where the blanket was except for Blue. She tried to tell them, but nobody could understand because she says, bow, 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 bow. So, Blue decided to leave her paw print on random objects. The first clue she put was three circles. Steve got his notebook from side table drawer. After Steve drew down the first clue, he asked Blue how many clues there were going to be. She said there were going to be three. So when we looked for the second clue, it was on a carrot. The last clue was on the snow. Once we found all three clues, Steve sat down in the thinking chair to think about how, where Joe's blanket was. He said, "So, the clues are circles, a carrot, and snow. Well, what has circles, a carrot, and snow? Wait, what about a snowman? Blue, is that where Joe's blanket is by the snowman?" "Bow, bow," Blue said. "It is. That's the answer to Blue's clues. Let's go get it." "There it is." Joe's blanket was on the snowman. They must have forgotten it, and they didn't notice. So they dried it off, and Joe got his blanket back. Soon after Joe got his blanket, everyone was finally able to take their naps. And that was the end. And everybody got to play in the snow, and Joe sang the So Long song, and that's when the episode ended, with Joe saying, "Woohoo! Happy holidays!" Yeah. I just love this episode. It's not really my favorite. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I do love this episode, but it seemed. I mean, all the episodes from Blue's Clues during Steve's days and Joe's days are all my favorites. You know? Oh yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. That's my Blue's Clues DVD, Blue's First Holiday. Hold on a second. Let me see. Let me move the iPad. You can't see the rest of my face. Maybe if I just put the iPad up here. Yeah, maybe that's. Oops, you see my books. So that's why you can't. The light is in the way. That's why. Oh well, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just have to leave it like that. Anyway, well, guys, that's my Blue's Clues Blue's first holiday DVD. I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I have to say for now. This is SKNY 1996 signing off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment.